Welcome to EnergyRogue.com, the go-to source for the latest insights and analysis on the energy commodities market. Led by two industry veterans, Bill Shanahan and Brian Pieri, as they host their weekly commodity market recap. With over 55 years of combined experience in the energy sector, Bill and Brian bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the table. From trading and hedging to finance and optimization, they have seen it all and are here to break down the latest market trends and share their insights. So sit back, relax, and get ready to dive into the world of energy commodities with Bill and Brian on EnergyRogue.com.
Sorry, boss, but there's only two men I trust. One of them's me, the other's not you.
Oh, man.
I thought I'd
Let's
lead
go.
off with that. Hey, everybody.
Hello, folks.
Listen, thanks so much for tuning in. We are going to accept comments and questions. We will accept those and respond to them towards the end, but we are going to walk through, and we're going to target about 30 minutes today, and we are going to walk through decoding decline. So this is one thing that big money bets on, and bets on in a big, big way. What are you grinning at, Bill? You're grinning at something.
The talk today will be decoding decline.
Wall Street loves to use confusing terms to make you think only they can do what they do.
Yes. So
where's Howard Cosell when you need him, man?
So listen, we are going to walk through a training, and this training is going to equip you so that you can have the tools to not only understand what is happening today, but what is going to be happening tomorrow. So we are going to step through this. We are going to accept questions, so feel free to post them in the comments. We should be able to see all of them. I typically see them from YouTube and LinkedIn. And thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for spending your lunch hour if you are in the Central Time Zone in the United States. We do have international listeners, so thank you. We are going to discover what big money it really bets on, and that is around the decline of oil and gas. What exactly does that mean? So this will help you, guide you, understanding not only where price will go, but also why, and this is going to be a key aspect in really understanding. It's part of the reason that we make projections of our pricing for our membership, and we make projections into the future, and decline is a big portion of it. So who are these guys? These two guys. I'm Brian. This is my business partner, Bill. We created EnergyRogue.com and launched it in 2021. It's been a phenomenal journey, and we have grown to 5 different continents, 32 out of 50 states, and we have just been so delighted at the experience in really understanding the energy markets. We have people in the energy industry, people in the utility side, the consumption side, the producer side, the midstream side, the natural gas liquid side, the crude oil side. So what am I missing, Bill? All kinds of sides, right?
Well, yeah, we talked about electricity. We talk about, it's amazing how many other parts we touch. People just don't understand how far their energy goes. And so when you're talking about, like today, we had to talk on helium. I mean, there's a lot of different things that happen with the energy that are produced. And a lot of people don't realize how much energy affects them. But
right.
If you're driving an Uber for a living, energy affects you because that gas price is something else, and so you've got to understand energy in order to understand your business. If you don't understand energy, which is a main input into your business, then you do not understand your business.
You look like a banker in this.
Yes. I think the last thing we look like are bankers, but.
So listen, thanks again. And we are accepting comments. I see new people popping online, so I want to make sure we are going to respond to questions. We are going to step through this pretty quickly, but we created Energy Rogue in 2021, after years of struggling to understand the energy markets. And we finally transformed to where it's not just about what data that you're chasing, it's about the insights around the data. And one of the reasons that we established Energy Rogue is it's not what I think, it's not what Bill thinks, it's not what so and so thinks, is it's how to objectively look at the data and have conversations about the potential of the future. Because anytime you are in the price prediction business, you're going to be wrong a lot. So do not misinterpret that. There is no secret box that is going to give you a key, but it's about chasing the right data. We created energyrogue.com so that people could have access to this very easy, simple, and affordable. So we did that. More about us a little bit later, because this shouldn't be just for the big guys. So
And
more
you know
about
what
us
Yogi
later.
Berra says about predictions, didn't you? He says predicting is hard, especially about things in the future.
Well, 95% of the game is mental, and the other half is mental. So listen, more about us later. We do have three kind of tiers of service. Rogue Edge, which is for people that just want easy access to information on supply, demand, imports, exports, storage stocks. So much more for natural gas, oil, refined products, natural gas liquids, and electricity. And Rogue Premium for those that want a little bit more insight into the business, and Rogue Advantage, which are people that really want our help and guidance, and we're happy to talk to you on that. So what are the big players focus on? They focus on supply and also demand, imports, exports, storage. Each one of these aspects, today we are going to focus on the supply component, but demand, imports, exports, and storage, all of these are critical variables in understanding the future price direction. So when we are assessing supply, let me show you 4 charts: supply alone, decline, new production, and the net effect. So when we look at, I'm just going to pick natural gas, and let's go back to our description here. Supply alone. Let's take a look at supply only. When we look at supply, this looks like we are growing, and we've come off a little bit, right? We've come off a little bit, but from where we've been, we have been growing. So you can look at this and just say, well, we have lots of supply, but that isn't where you should stop. You should also take a look at the decline curve. When you look at the decline curve, what you're evaluating is how much is each particular basin declining every month. And out of the United States, we produce roughly 100 BCF a day. Every month, we decline 3.6 BCF a day. So 3.6 BCF, or 3.6% of the US supply, drops every month because of a little known impact. We're going to talk about declines, but oil and gas wells decline.
That's right.
So
So I think that's something people don't understand, is that it's natural for once you drill a well and you start producing it, it declines, and the majority of the decline, and what it means by decline in production. So the amount of oil and gas that comes out of it goes down from day one, and most of the loss occurs in the first 12 months.
right.
So that's what this parabolic curve here shows, is that, or hyperbolic, not parabolic, excuse me, hyperbolic curve shows how fast this goes down. Each one of those dots is a month. And so it goes down quite a bit in the first 12 months. Then it sort of levels out. So that decline means that if you got a well that's declining, to stay at a level, you got to drill another one and drill another one and drill another one. And so you get on the hamster wheel here of trying to keep up with a certain production level, means you have to continue to drill. And when you're not drilling, then the overall availability supply declines.
Right. Or said a different way, if you look at this is Permian natural gas production. This is an exercise that we did last year. And if there was no additional drilling from this point in time, again, we did this last year. We did an exercise back to 2022. If there was no new drilling inside of 6 months, we would have declined from 18 BCF a day to 16. So 16 BCF a day. Then if you take a look at, let's actually take this and I'm going to click these off. This is an amalgamation of all of the production. So in February of 2022, we had 711,000 MCF a day of new production. Inside of 12 months, by February of 2023, it was 180. So it went from 711 to 180. What that means is if we are going to expect the same production next month or tomorrow, we need to add new production. So the hidden dynamics of decline is it's always going to be there and we need to replace it. So when we talk about replacing, what we typically look at is we look at the 4 charts. Let me go back here. The 4 charts. Supply alone, which we showed, decline, which is 3.6. Now let's go to new production. New production right here. And we can see that the shale basins have started dropping the output of their new production. And then you look at the net effect. And this is what we track every single month. We look at this net effect so that we can see, are we growing or shrinking? So it's really a math issue. Supply alone, decline, new production, and the net effect. Am I missing anything before I go on, Bill?
No, another time we'll discuss on the demand side. Right now, we're sort of staying on this side of the equation, and knowing that if you continue in a net decline, that will also have an impact on commodity pricing.
Yes. So when you look at the hidden dynamics of decline, you will see that every month we need to replace that with new production. So if you're looking at these layers, this is layers of new production. And what you can see in this exercise is that if we just had February molecules, and by next February, we need to replace another 600,000 MCF a day of new production. So that brings us back to rigs. That's why we focus on rigs. So what happens if no new? I just decided to do a lot of tongue twisters today. So what happens if no new volumes arrive? So in this situation from February of 2022 to October, we would have declined from 18 BCF a day to 16 BCF a day. So that means if we don't watch and monitor this new supply engine, let's just take one basin. Should we? What basin do we want to pick?
Well, we've been picking on the Permian. Maybe we ought to pick on
Eagleford, maybe?
Yeah, Eagleford. That'd be a good one.
All right, let's do Eagleford. And if you want to look at a particular basin, just drop us a comment right now. What we can see on the net effect, and there are variations such as when we had weather, there are shut-ins, and it skews the data a little bit. So you have to look at abstract the trend, and the trend is slightly negative. And now why is it slightly negative? Let's take a look. If we look at the Eagleford, we are currently bringing on New production every month of about 357,000 MCF a day. But what is the base decline? Let's take a look at that. And here we go. And it's pretty close. It's 382. So 382,000 MCF a day disappears every month, which means new production needs to come on in excess of that to actually grow. And we're currently bringing on less than that, which is why the Eagleford is in decline right now. So when we put these factors together, if no new volumes arrive, then we are going to be dropping in supply. So so let's see. We got Doug. How does the scoop stack look? Well, listen, I am going to do this. The scoop stack is in the Anadarko, so I'm going to keep it at the Anadarko, and then we'll take a look at the we will take a look at the Anadarko Basin, but then we'll look at the scoop stack when we get to the rigs section. So if we look at the Anadarko, we're slightly in decline. New production has been increasing, and we're currently at 216,000. Let's see what the decline is. Now, bear in mind, this is Anadarko as a whole, so it's not specifically the scoop stack, but we'll get to the rigs. We're declining 229,000 every month. And let's look at the scoop stack. So Doug, help me out here. We've got Mississippian. I'm going to take off mid rigs. Wait, should I look at total rigs or oil rigs or both?
Probably total rigs. We'll start with total rigs anyway.
Total rigs. All right. So I'm going to read these off. Tell me which ones we should add in. We've got Arkoma Woodford. No? Yeah?
Yeah, keep the Arkoma Woodford. Also,
Ardmore Woodford.
No, I think the Ardmore Woodford's further south from the scoop and stack. It might be in the scoop. No, it's probably in the
not
scoop.
Granite Wash. Wait a second. He said Ardmore Woodford. Okay, Doug. Yes. All right. We'll keep Ardmore. Oh, no. So we've got Mississippian. Yeah or no?
Yeah, yes on the Mississippian.
All right. We've got Arkoma Woodford, yes. Right?
Yes.
And Granite Wash, no.
No.
Cana Woodford.
Yes.
That's going to be the biggie. So we can see, let's Arkoma. Arco.
That's the Arkoma. That you got it over here is the Arkoma Woodford.
Okay. So we'll keep it there. We're gonna keep it to those three. We're gonna keep Mississippian, Cana Woodford, Arkoma Woodford, and what we can see is in early 2024 we had 24 active rigs in the Cana Woodford, and we are currently down to 16. So I would expect scoop stack to continue to decline. We've only just started the decline on on Arkoma. So Arkoma, Cana Woodford. I don't. We're going to start to decline more, and it's just based upon rigs. We're not having enough, and so Doug, thank you, and feel free to reach out to us if you want to connect one-on-one. There is information down below, and because I want to keep this kind of a higher level, but I do want to answer your question. I would see more decline coming.
What this shows you is that you can come out here using these tools and begin to develop your own strategy based on data that's being pulled, and you can actually isolate some of this data based on dates. And so it is something. It's something that you can utilize in your own research without having to look at anybody. And that's basically what we do with our first level program. But if you go up to premium, if you go to Rogue Edge Premium, what you get there is a chance for us to discuss it. And so that's why we begin to develop even a refining strategy. And then, of course, Rogue Advantage is where we actually spend specific time with you to talk about your specific issues. So, so this stuff can be cut and pasted, or I say cut and pasted, it can be adjusted, pulled out, and put in a presentation anytime you want to do it. And there's no additional charge for being able to do that. So what it does, it helps you develop your own thesis. And we've always used rigs as a leading indicator of what's coming up, because it takes anywhere from 60 days to 6 months for a well to come on, depending on what's going on. And so we use rigs as a leading indicator. And so if we see the rigs going down, we know the supply is probably going down. I understand everybody would say, well, what about rig efficiency? It's gotten better, but it's still
we're actually
pretty
going to talk
finite.
about that in declining in the decline discussion. So Stormy, thanks so much. Nice talking to you. And we will talk more next week. Appreciate it. So listen, when we look at new volumes, if no new volumes arrive, supply is going to decrease. And this is when companies look at the EUR, or estimated ultimate recovery. And this is the sum of the observed monthly production values using the decline curve, starting in month 0, going to typically, this is typical, month 360 or 30 years. They look at the decline curve and the initial production, because those are the most critical values that change the EUR. And this is why we track and we maintain what that rig efficiency looks like. There are some variations in that data, but as you can see, we've been increasing our production per rig over time, but it is flattening out. You can start to see we had massive acceleration from 2014 to 2016. Then we kind of flattened out and dropped. This has multitude of factors. We're not going to cover all that today, but it has to do with tier 1 versus tier 2. It has to do with lateral links. It has to do with economics. So there's a lot of moving parts that construct this variable, but we track this so that
And that number is strictly production versus a rig. It doesn't count how many days the rig was on the location. It doesn't count how many. It doesn't look into how many feet was perforated. So there's other things that you can go into. It gets a little bit deeper. So it's a little bit broader than what you would think. If you want to get crazy, there's data for everything, isn't there?
So listen, Richard, thank you. Thanks for stopping in. We need to connect. I hadn't heard back after your recent visit out there. So how do we transform this into strategy? We monitor the net change in production, and that's what we were just walking through on the Arkoma and on the Anadarko Basin. Is we look at each basin, are they declining or shrinking? And let's actually take a quick look at this. Do you want to do oil or gas, Bill?
Oh, let's switch it up. Let's go to oil.
All right, we'll do oil. Raise this up a little. And this shows us that back in 2022, we were adding so much volume, net volume on the oil side. We were adding close to 170,000 barrels a day every single month. This is why we track what we track, and we could see trends before they really hit the market. And this is part of the reason during 2023, we were asked how much extra supply the U.S. was going to bring. This was an international podcast, and we said we're not going to see any more growth, and it's really a function of rigs. And this is the chart that we were looking at so that we could transform that into strategy, because it's not just about the data, it's what you do with it, the strategic value. If you could understand a basin is shrinking or increasing in volume on the supply side, does that give you an edge, Bill?
I'm always looking for a rogue edge. Yes.
So that gives you an edge. After spending years struggling with key insights, we finally created our own. We created a dashboard with everything you need to know, and we report with a report that gives you a map for the week and a video that reviews where we are, but more important, where we're going. That's what we put inside of our service. And
And I think it's important to understand that it's never one thing. If you think the
no,
market's going to move on one thing, that's not it. It moves on a multitude of things and how they work with each other. And
well,
that's what we discuss. And that's the part that you miss when you just look at data.
well, a lot of people start from an equation of, well, let's just look at total supply. Well, that's not everything. What does demand look like? I mean, one of the reasons that we had a recent discussion inside of our community about electric demand, and it had to do with, well, let me start with this one. It had to do with how much we were getting from renewables, which you can see right here is quite a lot of megawatts. So what they were concerned about is that natural gas consumption would go down because of renewables. Well, we were able to look at data and say the renewables it is growing, but if you look at our electric demand on natural gas as a consumption, we are continuing to set higher highs and higher lows. And if you look at this curve, we are growing every single year. So renewables are growing, but our electricity usage is growing a lot faster than that. So it's really about transforming this into a strategy. And that is the key, is it's not just about the data. We have a dashboard with everything you need to know on supply, demand, storage, imports, exports, storage, stocks, so much more, and a report that helps you map out the week, and a video that helps it helps review where we are, but not, and more importantly, where we're going. And this is part of the reason that when we created this tier, if you want to talk about your strategy, join Rogue Premium. It's only $179 a month. This is probably worth a lot more than that, and people keep wanting to give us more, but we want to provide that value and that unique insight to you and your business and what your goals are. And in addition to the Rogue Premium, you get to connect with us once a month and have access to our Discord community where we answer your questions 7 days a week, and get to connect with everybody inside of our Rogue Premium community. So we give you strategic guidance, data-driven analytics, innovative solutions, and we create trusted partnerships with everybody in our community. So let me pause there and see if I missed anything, Bill.
No, we haven't missed anything. But the other thing part that we need to put out, if you're new to the energy business, if you're really just getting started, you can go out and on our site and find links to a course we call Natural
It's in
Gas
the description.
Basics.
It's in
It's
the
actually
description.
in the description below. Natural Gas Basics, and it's a combination of Reese Energy and ourselves putting together something online that you can take relatively inexpensively and get all the basics on natural gas. And this is the beginning. This is the first of several courses that'll be coming out. And so there's going to be an education part to this as well. And those courses allow you to keep asking deeper and deeper questions. And that's what, the idea here is that the more you know, the more you usually need to know. And it also gives you it's a value that you can convert into dollars.
Right. So this is just some of our customers and what they think about Energy Rogue. And in addition, down below, there is a free webinar. You can sign up in the description below. This is going to be how to master the market. This is going to give you the building blocks so that you can create a natural gas trading strategy. Now, this is going to give you the template, the framework, and it is going to require a lot of work. So, but this is a 40-minute free training that we put together just for you. So if you click the button down below or the link down below, you will get enrolled in our free webinar, and you can see that in the description. So I think that is most of what we wanted to talk about today. We are going to talk for another 5 minutes. So if you have any comments, if you have any questions, Doug, thank you for asking questions about the Scoop Stack. Appreciate you showing up. Stormy, always a pleasure seeing you pop on here. So thank you so much. And Richard, we do want to connect with you because I want to hear how your recent trip went, because I think there's some cool things that we can do here. So so we are going to stick around for about 5 more minutes, but the key insights, let me recap this, is to look at how much we're going to decline every single month, what the new layer is, the new production, how much new production, track the estimated recovery, which is going to be rig efficiency, and then transform this into strategy, which we typically look at 3 components. We look at the supply direction, and we put everything into interactive downloadable charts. We look at supply direction. This is a big reason right here that we actually projected back in April that we would see $3 before the end of June. We got there. We have since come off there, but this is the reason why, because we were looking at this trend right here. Let's see, back in April, we were looking at this curve right here, and combining that with rigs to determine a strategy. And then we also take a look at what the net decline is going to be, and we keep a track of new production that is being brought online by each basin and the net decline that we're looking at for each basin. So those are the building blocks that we look at every single day. So I don't know, any closing thoughts, Bill?
No, pretty much it. We really want to talk to you folks, so be sure and reach out to us, and we want to be able to help you become the success that you need to be for you and for your business. So reach out to us, and it's time for you. Maybe it's just time for you guys to go rogue.
So listen, we will have links to this down below, but you can sign up for only $89 a month. That is a pittance versus what you get. $179 to have your custom strategy built with Bill and Brian and our community, and that is only $179 a month. And if you in your business need help, you can sign up, you can click and schedule a meeting directly with us, and we will talk about you and your business. So that's all I got to say. Outside of
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
You need to stay focused on the markets and watch supply, demand, imports, exports. If you need a partner and a co-pilot for you and your business, we're here for you. So there's links down below. Hopefully this was helpful. Drop us a like, drop us a comment. If there's something we missed or something you want to hear about, drop us a line in the comments, because we want to hear from you. Any closing thoughts, Bill?
I said, put the bunny back in the box.
Besides, we like having fun here. So listen, folks, thanks so much. Thanks for joining. Do let us know what you think. Drop us a like, drop us a comment down below. Appreciate you stopping in. And as always, we will see you next week. Right, Bill?
We'll be here.
All right. See you next week, folks.